Hello and welcome back to Don't Tell Our Moms.
Don't tell our moms.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
If you're new here, welcome. If you don't know, I'm Kaitlyn,
I'm Molly.
and this is our weekly podcast.
Our weekly podcast that we come and do every week.
Yes.
If you see that my mushroom is not where it was, I threw it off the desk and broke it by accident last week.
Yeah. It's okay, though.
I just want to start off with that
Yeah.
because I'm really upset about it.
It happens. I was like, Molly, it was literally $8 at Walmart.
But I liked having it there in the corner.
I'll get you another one. I have to do a Walmart pickup tonight anyway, so I'll just add it to it because I literally got it from a Walmart delivery because I saw it and was like, hey, that'd be cute on my kitchen shelf. I need a little nightlight in my kitchen.
Well,
Yeah.
but before we get too into this,
Okay.
Kaitlyn has no idea what's about to happen. I have been working on this for a few weeks.
And I couldn't even go into Molly's house. I took her home from antiquing and she was like, she met me at my car. And I was like, do you not want me to go inside? Because I always go in to see the dogs. And Molly was like, no, like you can totally come in. No, you can't. And then I dropped her off, her and her sister-in-law off. And she's like, I'll bring you out. I need a charger cord. And she's like, I'll bring it out. Don't come in the house. I'm like,
It's
okay.
because it was spread all over my dining room table.
So I'm very anxious to see what it is.
So I would have made this for Kaitlyn, whether we did this podcast or not. But I don't know, just thought it was the perfect time because we're talking about like stuff for our shelves and just a lot of good memories associated with this thing. So I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to give you something very special.
Okay.
Give me just a second.
My husband, she showed it to my husband earlier and he said, oh, she's going to cry.
I don't think you'll cry. Okay, it's wrapped in literally paper towels only because it was in my purse and I needed it to be protected. So
I'm scared.
I was scared. Took me a long time.
Molly. Molly, it's beautiful and I love Grapico.
No.
I love Grapico. That is beautiful, Molly.
Bedazzled.
Oh,
Every bit of it's bedazzled.
Molly, that had to take you hours.
It took weeks.
Holy shit.
Took weeks.
Y'all, the camera, there's no way that it's doing this justice right now.
Yeah.
Molly.
And there's one specific memory. I am not a fan of grape flavored anything.
Okay, she's going front
Yeah.
and center.
Kaitlyn and I,
God.
one time, we were taking a late night trip and we had stopped and like scrounged up change to get gas. And we were thirsty. And of course, we didn't have any money left over.
No.
But we had a few quarters and there was a drink machine. But I think the only thing left in that drink machine was a Grapico. And I drank it, and I was grateful because we were so thirsty. But I can't see a Grapico without thinking of Kaitlyn.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do. I buy him by the 12 pack. Me and my husband, but he can't have caffeine anymore. And so I was like, oh, Grapeco doesn't have caffeine. But me and my little brother, it's like, and it's so fitting thank you so much, Molly. I love that. But me and Craig we both loved Grapico. And so we would get 2 liters and like go sneak down to our room and drink a whole 2-liter of Grapico.
And I tried because I too had to buy a 12 pack because my sweet wife, Jackie, we knew I wanted to do this. And so we were going around to like vending machines. We went to like probably 4 because I was like, we don't really drink Grapico like that. And I really didn't want to have to buy a case. I was like, they had like the mini 6-pack, but I was like, I don't want to do a mini can.
Yeah.
So I just ended up buying a whole case because you can't buy a single Grapico in a Coke vending machine anymore.
You can't. Mm-mm.
So I have a whole case. I'll have to bring you the rest.
Oh, thank you. Do you remember? I don't know. Do they still have them at Walmart? If they do, I rarely go inside of a Walmart anymore because of pickup and delivery.
Yeah.
But do you remember when? I remember when we were kids. They were like 15 cents because you could have a nickel and a dime. The Sam's Choice like drinks.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think
I
they
remember
have them
like
anymore.
they like went up to a quarter, and I remember my mom being like, oh, "Those are a quarter." But like for a quarter, you could get a Mountain Lightning. You could get what's the
Dr. Thunder.
Dr. Thunder. You could get a Sam's Choice Coke.
Yeah,
slaps.
the Cokes are good. No, I don't think they have those. If they do, I haven't seen them.
Well, I know that Sam's Club still does some of the Sam's Choices, like, obviously Walmart does, but you can buy, like, the 24 pack, and so when I walked through Sam's, we were just in there the other day because it's Mardi Gras is weird. We bought, like, we literally bought, like, a pallet's worth. It was a whole pallet of ramen noodle
Mhm.
packs cases for Mardi Gras, and so it's strange. You're in the aisle, and you're like, "Can I get this whole pallet?" And they're like, "I guess." Like,
One time at Mardi Gras, I caught a bag of rice.
ooh,
I
hey,
cooked it. I used it.
so I'm being bougie because Sam's had them on sale and they were a dollar less than like the 24, like the 24 pack of ramen at Sam's was like 6.98 and they had them on sale for like 7.98. But I'm throwing the cup of noodles too. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. People are
fancy.
gonna be excited about those. I'm like, yeah, y'all gonna just scream my name for a couple noodles. But yeah, yeah, we both had to buy throws, and that was, like, the last thing, and so we went to Sam's, and I was like, "Please let them," because you would see, like, on Facebook, people, like, posting on, like, our mobile, like, pages, like, "Yep, you can tell Mardi Gras here," because people were like it would be a picture of someone walking out of Sam's, and they had, like, a whole
Oh,
cart
case.
full of 17 cases, but it's a cheap throw, and people go crazy for them. People want food. The
Mhm,
kids like the trinkets, but, it's funny because like, all of my throws that I did, Randy was like, "Are you only gonna throw to kids?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I wanna throw to adults, but I just like the excitement."
mhm.
I know from the ground, like, as a spectator that I've gone for so long, like, the excitement of little kids, like, when they see, like, a stuffed
Yeah,
animal and they're, like, screaming for it, if I had the money, I would buy thousands of
I know.
plushes and throw them
That's
to
where I caught
kids.
my little ugly green guy. I
Yeah.
caught that at a Mardi Gras parade one time, and I washed him in the washing machine, and he's
Yeah. So
been hanging out ever since.
if I could, I would spend an insane amount of money to make sure that every kid at that parade
I
had a
know.
plush. But,
I know.
well, how was your week this week?
Work made me rethink my whole career choice for a few days there.
It's
Um,
this time of year.
it
Same.
is. It's yeah, it's the time of year. Nothing too exciting this past week. Now this next week and this weekend, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But like these past few days since we were here last has been just pretty chill, pretty run of the mill actually.
Yeah.
Nothing too nothing too exciting for
We're
me.
booked and busy.
We are. We are. So I'll kind of give you what my weekend's gonna look like. Let's see. What's today? Thursday. Friday. Friday is tomorrow's my sister-in-law's birthday, so we're gonna be hanging out with her.
Shout out Joe.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
I'm gonna be hanging out with her tomorrow. Saturday, we have some plans with our friend. We're gonna make some Mardi Gras crafts. Sunday, my sister's coming into town. And then I'm very excited about this. I have a tattoo appointment on Tuesday.
Ooh, what are you gonna get?
It's one of their flash pieces. When I get it, I'll insert a clip here, but we're gonna start on my leg. So it's gonna go on my thigh.
Yeah, I think that's where I would do my next one.
Yep.
I've thought about it, like, I would do
That's
because
my
it's
only
easy to conceal, like, I have to make sure that the necks that I get are all easy to conceal, but I really think that I would get them, like, start on my side, like, where I have my side
yeah.
piece, and then work down from it and just, like, go around it.
Well, it's a bigger piece and that my legs are now my only like real estate left.
Yeah.
That's a big amount of skin because like my back, I don't really have much real estate there left anymore. So, but yeah, that is what my next few days looks like. But this past week
Can we get a
was
matching
pretty fun.
tattoo for my birthday?
I would love nothing more.
Okay.
I would
I
love
thought I was
nothing.
thinking about I meant to text you the other night, and I was like, "Molly, literally, how do we not have a tattoo
I don't
together?"
know.
But I've been getting the itch lately, and I think we should get a matching one for my birthday.
I would love nothing more. That would be so fun. And like we have just a wide open book of what we could get
Yeah.
because we have so many inside jokes and weird things. No, I can add you to my little sleeve I've got going.
I think we should get something Jersey Shore related.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, so I'm trying not to stress, says Kaitlyn every week. However, I was talking about it at work today because, like, I have to get tomorrow night, I gotta go get my toes done because they look funky because it's winter, it's cold. But in case, like, I may have to wear, like, dresses and stuff, like, throughout the rest of the season for balls. So I wanna make sure my toes, and I'm also gonna be, like, around a bunch of women in a hotel frolicking around, and so I don't wanna be like, "Damn, your toes look crazy." Anyways, so I'm gonna get my toes done, and these eyebrows have gotta get waxed. So I gotta get waxed and waxed to get ready for Mardi Gras next week. And I just have to do a lot of packing, laundry, get all my throws together. There's a lot I have to do. So it's funny, today at work, Alexis, she said And because she knows I love keeping up with the Kardashians. And so she said, Caitlin, hearing you talk about what you and Rady both like, y'all's schedule is giving me anxiety. And the short amount of time that you guys have to do so many things.
Yeah.
Cause like we're going to Louisiana to finish our throws and pick up all of our liquor. Cause if you don't know, Louisiana, they don't mark up their liquor. They sell it at cost and their tax is cheaper than ours. So we skip over once we found that out. And if you've never been to Total Wine, it's literally a Costco for just nothing but
Mhm.
liquor in Louisiana and Florida. We don't have any here. So we either have to go to Pensacola or the one in Metairie is massive. And I buy my favorite wine there by the case because it's like $8 a bottle. My little brother had it at his wedding and it was so freaking good. And so I go over there now and buy it by the case. So I'm gonna go get all of my like mini shooters and liquor and stuff just to gear up for Mardi Gras. That's Saturday, and then Sunday, I think me and Molly, we might actually go to the Dolphin Island parade
Oh,
with
yeah,
Megan.
that's right. Sunday, we also have a parade.
And then Monday and Tuesday is gonna be me literally getting my life together for the rest of next week. And so she said, "Caitlin, your Mardi Gras schedule, all I can hear in my head," and she pulled it up on TikTok, and it made me crack up because it is literally me. It's when Courtney and Scott are sitting there. No, it's not Courtney, it's, Chloe. Chloe and Scott are sitting there, and I love their interactions with each other, but she's like, "God, I'm so busy this week." And he's like, "Yeah?" And she said, "I mean, Thursday, Nobu. Friday, Vegas. And I have a spray tan at 8:45." And he goes, "My God, things are stacking up quick." I love that
Yeah.
clip. And so she was like, Caitlin, like hearing you being like, I mean, I have Nobu on Thursday. I have Vegas on Friday. And
Yeah.
because I was talking about getting a spray tan, and she was like, Caitlin, you're literally Chloe right
Mhm.
now. So yeah, I don't know. I have a lot going on, but I'm just so, so, so excited and it'll all be worth it. But it's a lot of work for just one day slash night of the year.
Yeah.
But
It's gonna be a good time.
it is gonna be a good time.
But yeah, that's probably what we're gonna talk about for the next while is Mardi Gras and all of our fun adventures of that.
Yeah, let you guys kinda live vicariously through us
Mhm.
because if you ever get the opportunity, come to Mobile,
Mhm.
like, and we can feel free to reach out to us. We both with both of us having lived on the parade route for years, and then I'm in being, like, in my husband and I in organizations, and just we've Mardi Gras now for a decade, and so, I've had even people from back home that have reached out to me before in years past on, like, Facebook and be like, "Hey, I thought about bringing my kids or my whoever, like, down to what's the best parade?" So, like, we can give you restaurant recommendations,
Yeah.
we could be your travel agent
Come see us
free of charge for Mardi Gras.
for
We'd
Mardi
love to
Gras.
because I think that everyone should experience a Mobile Mardi Gras once in their life.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
it's just magical. So yeah, we'll probably talk about it, and then once it's over, we won't talk about it again for a year because
Mhm.
we will
Yeah,
both be
we'll be over it.
tapped out, Mardi Gras out. So
We'll be over it after it's done. I know one thing we're gonna talk about a lot today is family because I think it's like National Family Day coming like right around
yeah.
it's somewhere like
Well, this like
somewhere around the corner.
National Siblings Day is a different day every year, and so I'll see people, but I'm like, shit, I gotta post my siblings. But yeah, we're gonna we've done a friendship episode, and
Mhm.
so we said let's do a family
Yeah,
episode.
we're gonna have a little theme this
Yeah,
week,
because
kinda
if
bring
me,
it back in a little bit.
yeah, if me and Molly don't know anything about anything, it's family because we both have big, loud, crazy families.
Mhm, mhm. We sure do. You're fine.
So we're naturally, anytime we do kind of themes like this, we try to do at least one "Am I the Asshole?" because you guys seem to
Mhm.
enjoy those, and we like discussing
I
them.
love these.
So it wasn't hard to find "Am I the Asshole?" Family Edition on
No,
Reddit. It's
it was
basically
not.
all "Am I the Assholes?"
Yeah.
are because your family members. Everybody's got a few assholes. All right, so I'm gonna kick us off with this one.
Mhm.
So the subject line was, "Am I the asshole for making my dad face the consequences of cheating on my mom with his wife by telling her and his family?" My parents got divorced when 17 male, was 5. It was all kinds of awful because my dad acted like my mom was the worst person he knew, and he kept that energy even after he remarried and had other kids, and he and my mom hardly ever spoke. Most of the stuff he said either wasn't true and he contradicted himself on all the lies, or it was like WTF. Like how she went back to work after having me instead of being a stay at home mom and how awful that was.
Yeah.
Oh, and how she had the nerve to plan date nights when he was busy. Almost 3 years after my parents divorced, my dad remarried to his wife, Anya, and they had 3 kids together. I hated the way dad talked about mom. I hated that Anya was always quick to tell me I shouldn't be so quick to defend mom. But they were good to me in a way, not the best and not the worst, either kind of deal. Then a few months ago, my dad got drunk at his wife's birthday party and told me he and Anya had dated way longer than anyone realized and that he was cheating on my mom for 2 years and got away with it because nobody found out. He admitted he left mom for Anya and that he hated mom for almost finding out about Anya by planning date nights and other stuff when he would just want to be with Anya.
My lord.
He even admitted that they laughed behind my mom's back and how proud he was that he never got caught.
Ugh.
Yeah. I was pissed, and when my dad sobered up, I confronted him and Anya, and they told me I couldn't tell anyone, and dad was freaking out because he hadn't meant to tell me. But I didn't listen, and I told my mom because after all those years of him talking shit about her, I figured she deserved to know the truth. She was hurt, and I hated doing that to her, but she told me that she was glad she finally knew and she would stop trying to stay civil for my sake after all of that. She said she wouldn't be outright hostile, and I told her she could be as hostile as she liked.
Yeah.
I said I hated it. I hated him for what he did all those years of talking about her like she was trash, and she admitted she wished she could have gotten enough proof for a custody judge to take seriously when I was younger. But I didn't just tell my mom. I told my dad's whole family about it.
Hell yeah.
I figured they should know that they were supporting a cheater because they told me to stay out of what he said about my mom, that he was faithful and that mattered more. When I told them, it took a while for them to believe it, but then they did. And they told dad he was disgusting and immoral and how God would never forgive him. They also stopped having anything to do with him and his kids. They no longer considered them legitimate grandchildren. That was when my dad became super pissed off at me and he said I was evil and spiteful to destroy everyone's life like that. I asked him what he would call himself after talking shit about my mom for 12 years when he was the one who did her dirty. He said he never ruined the lives of innocent children who were getting grown people problems taken out on them. I said he actually did when he badmouthed my mom to me and put me in a bad place with that. Anya said that it was so small compared to what their kids would go through because it was clear I was done with all of them as family, and that meant the kids would lose so much more. I went no contact with them at that point, although I can't block him until I turn 18 because it says so in their custody order. And since I blocked her, they used dad's phone all the time to shame me for making dad face the consequences of what he did. They blame me for their kids being collateral damage in it all. Am I the asshole? No.
I'd have been told his job. I'd have probably went further than that. I'd
Yeah.
have bought a billboard.
What is that? Risa on TikTok? Who did I marry? Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be an 18-part story time on my TikTok.
Yeah, I would have put it on a billboard. Something. No,
No.
not the asshole.
Because it doesn't fall on you because at the end of the day, like by telling his dad's, like the rest of his dad's family, they're all grown adults. And if they choose, and this is actually funny because this is one of my, well, we're going to do hot takes after this.
Hmm.
So this ties into one of my hot takes, but like they're grown ass adults. That was on them for cutting off
Mhm.
the grandkids and like him. Like that was a decision that had nothing to do with like you
Right.
telling them because I think that is a little extreme, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's his dad's family's decision. And honestly, by them saying like God will never forgive him and that his kids are illegitimate, the family really kind of sounds like I wouldn't want my kids having much to do with them in the first place. But anyways, no, you're not the asshole. And I would have raged.
For sure.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, mine is kind of funny.
Okay.
So, read off my phone. I took a screenshot.
Okay.
All right. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for telling my sister in law that I don't care about her health condition and she needs to shower?
Girl stink, take a bath.
Yep. My sister in law has a health condition that causes her to sweat more than average. She can be doing nothing at all
Same.
physically. She can be doing nothing at all physically, but still be sweating bullets. It can even be cold out and she still breaks the sweat. This is something that I've always known about her since we started talking back in high school. And although we weren't super close back then, it was something I decided I can live with. Now, flash forward to modern day, and I'm with her brother now. She often likes to stop by since we live very close together. This is absolutely something I don't mind since she's overall a sweet person and likes to bring free food. The only issue is that she smells like absolutely foul. I knew she wasn't the most hygienic person sometimes out of forgetfulness, but after she had moved out of her parents' house and nobody was there to have to remind her to shower, put on deodorant, brush her teeth, etc., you can clearly tell she doesn't do any of that nearly as much as she should. Now, anytime she comes over, her smell irks me. After she leaves, I open all the windows in the apartment
Air that bitch out.
and spray the entire place down. I have to fight myself from gagging whenever she goes to hug me, and sometimes I can barely be around her for dinners without her body odor grossing me out too much to even focus on the food. This was the exact case while we were all out at dinner together. Well, her smell while her smell at some point was so bad that I had to go to the bathroom to throw up, and at that point I had completely had enough of her stench. After dinner, I pulled her aside and tried my best to gently explain to her that she really needs to shower and put on deodorant since she smells awful. Her reaction to to tell to remind me that she can't help it due to her health condition since she just sweat through all of her deodorant not even halfway through the day. So homegirl wasn't even she was like, I'm gonna sweat through it anyway. What's the point in wearing deodorant? That's when I flat out told her I don't care about her health condition and that if anything, because of it, she should be more hygienic. Even going as far as to offering to buy her deodorant and soap if it means she just uses it. She ended up breaking down crying about how she can't help her condition and she doesn't understand why I'm being so mean to her. Did I point it out nicely? Absolutely not. But it's starting to drive me insane that every time I'm around her, she smells like a barnyard. So now I need to know if I'm wrong for this one. But she put an edit. She said, I decided to make an edit since there's more context here to it. I've told her before about her smelling bad more gently than now. From multiple times of offering her perfumes to having to come over to her house and buy her deodorants and soaps and she won't buy them on her own, she oftentimes views buying scented body washes or deodorants as a waste of time and money. Her parents for years also ran into the same issue. Um, so is she the asshole for telling her sister-in-law that
Mm,
she smells like a barnyard?
hell no. Okay, first of all, I have a health condition too. It's called being big.
Yeah.
And you have to know, you have to be conscious in knowing, hey, I got some extra folds. I got some crevices. I
Claim.
got I got under here,
Mhm.
my thighs.
Yeah.
Okay. I got about 17 different things that when I get out of the shower that witch hazel. It's 98 cents at Walmart. Okay. There are things that you can do and that you have to be conscious of knowing, hey, I got more folds. I already sweat as it is. I'm going through damn perimenopause at 32. I be sweating. I got on about 17 different. I got on body deodorant. I got on witch hazel. I got on deodorant. I got on perfume. I got on coconut oil. I put it when I got out of the shower. Like your girl, Molly. I'm gonna be honest with you. If her armpits stink, imagine what other folds smell like. And as a female, there is no. And I understand there are that you can't help it. However, the Dollar Tree sells so many products, and literally, it's Dove sensitive skin.
Sensitive skin.
Dove, sensitive skin, ladies. It's not hard. If I smell your sit down air in the presence of me, get out.
Get out.
There's no excuse. I have suffered with deep, deep, dark depression before, and I still washed my ass.
I can't like, if I feel and I work from home, so I don't even really go out and, like, do anything to get dirty for, the most part. But if I feel dirty, like, immediately have to shower. Like, I can't stand to feel let alone even smell dirty. But
No, and it's saying that she has I get that she has a health condition, like, where you sweat, but it's not so to me, that is she doesn't have a disability, it's just a health condition,
yeah.
because there are I know girls, like, you could get
Yeah.
insurance to cover Botox in your armpits if it's
Mhm.
affecting you, like, if you're sweating through, like, a jacket at work. I've known girls who have had their insurance pay so you can get Botox
Yeah.
injections. So, in this case, it's not that she's not able to,
There's a
it's just
big
absolute
difference.
refusal. Like, do you like smelling yourself or something?
I
That's
think some people just don't care.
gross.
But no, you're right. There's absolutely a massive difference in, like, not being able to clean yourself properly or, so where the absolute difference. I would never shame anyone for that. But, like, if you choose to, like, just be stinky, yeah. And I think you have to, especially if they're your friend, like, if I smell her sit down air, Imma be like, "Kaitlyn, when's the last time you washed?" I wanna
Yes.
ask her I'm gonna be a little gentle, but
Hey,
it's
your
like
pH might be a little off.
yeah,
Literally.
but, like, I also, the way I see it, if I have a booger, you better tell me, or you're not my friend.
Yeah, or something in my
If you
teeth,
have something
or
in your teeth
I bled through my
or
pants.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
So if
We're just girls. Who gives a
yeah.
shit?
So
I'd rather you tell me than be nervous or embarrassed to tell me.
yeah, so if I'm getting a whiff, I'm gonna tell you.
And that's what I can't even think about it because did she still get her cycle? Ugh, I don't even wanna think about it. God.
She just was
No.
stinky arm
And,
pit.
but it's just because I grew up, like, you can be po and that's, like, that's why there's no excuses. There are people who are dirt poor, and they still have a clean home.
Mhm.
They still have good hygiene because it's not expensive. Literally.
Well, she said there's no use because it's a waste of money, a waste of time, and she's gonna sweat through her
No.
deodorant anyway.
You would not be it's funny, like, my dad used to call it famunda.
Famunda
He'd say, "You smell
cheese.
like famunda," and say, "What?" I'd say, "What?" And he'd say, "It smells like cheese famunda yes."
Famunda, yes.
And he'd say, "That girl smells like famunda."
Kaitlyn, I think I'm just gonna stop wearing deodorant and stuff.
No, hell no, hell no. And this may be we're about to get to our hot takes, but your deodorant needs a little aluminum in it.
That natural kind gives me chemical burns in my armpit.
Yes, your deodorant needs just a little bit of aluminum, ladies.
No, I think I'm gonna stop wearing it. I think
Molly.
I'm gonna
All
stop.
right, well, I hope all of you have enjoyed our series of episodes so far, but that's a wrap for me.
That's where you draw the line in our friendship?
No, I really
No
wouldn't.
deodorant?
No, I really wouldn't give a shit, Molly.
Well,
About deodorant, but, like, no, because I don't think that that's just body odor. I think they're smelling badussy.
yeah, it'd have to be because if she's not buying, like, soaps and stuff.
If it smells like
So
bounce that ass, and she'd be bouncing that ass out of my house if she smelled like that.
yeah.
There is absolutely no excuse.
No, not
No one
not
should have
unless
to
you
remind a grown ass adult to bathe.
well,
Oh
I
my
don't think she
god.
should.
And because you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna pull that card. Being physically able to, because there are people who cannot
Mhm,
either do that for themselves or physically can't do it that would love to be able to soak in a bathtub or
mhm.
be able to bathe themselves. So to be able to, like, what a privilege to be able to wake up every day and clean yourself.
Absolutely.
No, that is so, no, you're not the asshole for that. And my sister, let me tell you something. And my sister-in-laws, honestly, because, like, once you marry my family, baby, you family. And
Mhm.
my sister-in-laws would tell me quick if I was staying at their house and they would be like,
Jackie would check Sarah so fast, she'd be like, "Sarah Francis, go get in that bathtub." She would go get that
literally,
bathtub.
because it's, like, rude. Like, if you wanna sit if you live if it's okay, like, when I lived in my apartment by myself, if I wanted to sit in my own funk, that was on me. But you're living with other people or you're and then also the audacity to know that you stink and then you were like, "Hey, I'm stopping by."
Go in for a
Like,
hug.
it'd be one thing if they, like, popped into her house and she's like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, like, I've been going through
Yeah.
it, and, like, my house is gross or I'm gross," like, whatever. That's one thing, but she's popping in at their house.
Bringing food.
But Imma say, don't offer someone who stinks like that, please do not offer them perfume because then they just smell like body odor and ass and perfume.
It's like
Perfume is not the answer to
it's like
that.
spraying Febreze directly on a turd. Not gonna do very much.
Oh,
Okay, well, I had to cut a little bit because Caitlin told a very funny story, but I fear it may give too much information away. So we're gonna just cut that part and we're gonna hop right into our hot takes.
yep, I did Am I the Assholes?
Mhm.
I did Am I the Asshole first, so you take it away with hot takes.
Take it away.
Alrighty.
My first hot take is when, and this doesn't apply to me, but it's just kind of a known thing. Being like the easy child often means that that child is the one who is emotionally neglected.
Yep.
So and they're like, "Oh, they're so easy. They are just great in school. I don't ever have to like keep, I don't have to keep on them about stuff." It's often because they're emotionally neglected
Mhm.
and they do things to like keep up that perfect good child facade as to like either how do I word it? It's like either try to get some good attention or to like keep the peace in some scenarios.
Yeah, I actually learned in therapy because I was that child. We were funny, we were looking through my report cards and Randy was like, you would not know it now, but I was the most quiet and shy child when it came to school. I was a perfectionist. I was like, and talented and gifted. Like I was the perfect child at school and I was an overachiever. And it was to do with like, you overachieve because you don't wanna add to if you have a chaotic home life,
Right. You
you
don't
don't
want to
wanna add
add
to
to
the
that.
chaos. I
Right,
didn't
right.
realize that until I went to therapy because that went into my adult life where it gave me my work ethic and things like that, but, like, I am, like, that's why I'm a people pleaser. It's explains a lot about how I am who I am as an adult because you overachieve because you do want that, you want the positive
Mhm.
attention, but you also want to if there's already things that are going on around me that's chaos, I can't add to that. So
Right.
if I get in trouble at school, if causing like bad grades,
Mhm.
anything like that, like I need to be.
Right, because the parents' attention, like you said, is often in this case, is like often their attention is always elsewhere, dealing with other chaotic stuff all the time.
Mhm.
And it's that kid has that mindset, like you said, of I have to be good as to not like cause them any more stress.
Yep.
So they're viewed as like, they're such a good child, which I mean, they are, but it's
Mhm.
because they're emotionally neglected a lot of the times in that case.
Yep.
That's my first hot take.
Yeah. Okay. So my first hot take is every time I go to say something like this, they're gonna be like, "Can we go one episode without talking about death or morbid?" But this one is one that I'm very passionate about. Take your children as a family. Take your children to funerals. I don't care if it is Miss Betty that's 98 years old from the church. Please take your children to funerals. And this will come back around full circle in a funny, dark humor way at the end of this episode. However, my dad's funeral at 18, I was blessed. I was blessed enough that like my both of my grandparents on my dad's side had died.
Hmm.
They lived in St. Louis. And so it was like a lot. Like and I was very little when they died. And
Yeah.
so it was a lot for like just my mom and dad went up there. And like I think one of my older siblings, some of them were like out of the house and grown and like went there and like drove there or flew there. But we did not go. And both of my grandparents on my mom's side were still alive when my dad died. And so I had never seen a dead body. I'd never been to a funeral. And so
Ooh.
it's a very please do not let your funeral be the first one that your children attend.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes it can't be helped, but take your young children. I know they're like, "Oh, they're kids." Like, they don't no, let them experience that because it was so traumatizing to see my dad be by the first dead body I've ever seen, and it was wild, and, like, I was 18, like, take them with you, at least to 1 or 2. I know that sounds morbid, but please, for the love of God, take your children to a funeral.
Or either like, very thoroughly explain the process, until they're a certain
Yeah.
age to go. But no, that makes sense. That makes sense just like you
Like,
said,
don't
like
let it be someone that they don't have, like, a close emotional tie to.
yeah.
But if you're going to a funeral that you're just popping in, it was maybe someone you used to know, take them with you to the wake or something and walk them up with you to say your condolences and all those things and like let them experience how a funeral works. Hey, there's a dead body there. I mean, it doesn't need to be like traumatizing for them, but it's even more traumatizing. I can tell you, I would have rather have seen some random woman from the church or like,
Mhm.
some random person I didn't know, old person laying there so that I didn't walk up to a casket at 18 years old and my dad be the first dead person I saw because
Oh,
it's very
yeah.
traumatizing. So I will die on that hill that you should take children to funerals.
That's a pretty interesting content. I don't think I've ever thought about it.
Yeah.
I don't fully disagree.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
For this one, I kinda have a lot that I could say about it, but, um and this isn't really this is probably lukewarm once again, but that saying, "But their family," is so stupid and so overused because that explains the connection, not the obligation to that person. But their family. I and this can go for a magnitude of scenarios. So, if someone is toxic for you, but their family, that doesn't matter. Cut them off. If they are, harmful to your mental health, or, there could be a million reasons why someone who is your family needs to be cut out of your life. Do it. Like, oh, but their family, that doesn't always mean anything because family, a lot of times, are some of the people who do you the worst.
Yeah.
So
Yep. That
that's
is a hill I also
yeah.
there's a lot of I have a lot of hills to die
Yeah.
on. And hey, bring your kid to one of them.
Yeah.
I'm dying on a lot of hills. Bring your kid to one
Bring
of
your
them. Let him see.
kids. Bring your kids.
Oh, that was comedic
That was
genius.
a good one. That was really good.
So, yeah, that's a hill I will die on because that's what I tell people because I learned today, I didn't know it was a Pisces thing. Because one of my coworkers was talking about her husband, and she was like, "It's very Pisces of him. He'll just cut people off." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that's a
I
Pisces thing."
I have always said, and people know. people know, it is known, people who might be watching this. I have no issue with cutting people off, and that probably is, like, an issue to a point, um, but, like and it might be a Scorpio thing, but especially in, like, my older years, I have come to realize that, like, if you are not benefiting my life in any way, I have no, like and it's not even like all, "Oh, what can they do for me or what can they give me?" Not even like not that kind of, like, benefit, but if like, the energy or the mental health, if it's not good for me, if it's not beneficial,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut it off, and it doesn't always have to be, like, this fallout where it's, like, nasty, but I just have a way of, like, cutting feelings off and pretending like they were never there. That's probably an issue, but I could just turn it off like it was never there.
No, and, like, again, too, like, I had to come to a place whenever I got to well, one, like, my sister dying, that opened my eyes up a lot to just how I see the world,
Mhm,
how I value relationships, and then also how there are relationships that, like, are not, like, one, like, little shit doesn't matter, and I had to learn
mm-mm,
that, like, their life is way too short, little shit doesn't matter, but then also you do have we're all on borrowed time here, and so who you surround yourself with matters, and then
mhm,
also how I have seen it as in my adult life is that my entire childhood I lived in chaos
yeah,
and just a lot of things, and because with not my choice. And so I had to learn to really protect my peace as an adult because I do have a choice now.
it's, like, choosing to not have that, like, chaotic part in there anymore. I mean, I have pretty much a whole side of my family that I don't speak to, and I won't, go too deep into those reasons why, but it's, choice, and so, like, the saying, "But their family," that doesn't it's a like that said, it's a title, it explains the connection, not the obligation to that person. Or it's like when like, people when they're like, "That's my grandchild." You're not obligated to someone else's kid just because you're a grandparent.
No.
Like, "But I'm
Mm-mm.
family, that's my grandchild." So? So what?
Mm.
Well, that was my 2. Let me hear your second
All
hot
right.
take.
So my last one, it's funny that I chose the Am I the Asshole that I did because this is and it may not even be like a hot take, but this is my last hot take. So, and I can say this because I have so many siblings and I have lots of nieces and nephews. And just like how sisters do, or even siblings, like when there's this many of us and there's different personalities, especially the ones of us that are like literally just like my dad, like me and my sister Christy were. We were both, my dad made over in female form in different ways. But especially with those girls, no matter what you as adults have going on, and this is whether you have a fallout with like, if I'm in an argument with well, now that we're older, especially since my sister passed, now that we're older, we just call me and my sister Stacy, we just call each other the hell out on whatever it is that was bothering us, and we talk about it, and we move on from it. I could never imagine my sister not being in my life. But there were times where, like, we would go and I can tell you, there was times where, like, I'd been a fallout with my sisters for, like, 6 months, and then a birthday or holiday would roll around, and we would just act like nothing happened. And that was crazy, and it makes me sad now to think that because I think about how much time that we wasted and years that we wasted of being, like, beefing with each other, even if it was for, like, a month. That's a month that I would give anything to have back now with my whole family, and so, but when it comes to the children, like, I don't have any children of my own, but my nieces and nephews and my sisters me and my sister could be just knockout, drag out, not speaking to each other. If I FaceTimed her and wanted to talk to the kids, here's your Aunt KK. My sister Christy was married, and when she got married, her husband had a little girl. She was 3 when she came to our family. That is not my step niece. That's my niece. That's my niece. She's one of my first babies because she was one of the first grandkids. And so she grew up. My sister was the only mother that she knew for a lot of her life. And so when my sister got divorced, they had a child together, my sister's youngest. They had a child together. And so, like, naturally, obviously, like, that's my sister's birth, that's her biological child. But when they got divorced, we still I mean, even when they were not co-parenting, like, even when they were having issues with co-parenting, I was quick my niece was a teenager at that point. It broke my heart because she was like, "Well, I mean, I figured, like, Christy and my dad are divorced. And I was like, "That has not shit to do with any of us. You are my niece. I will always be your aunt, and your dad will have a fight with us if" and he never did, and it was never a situation. I mean, we went to his wedding, like, when he got remarried, like,
Mhm.
we did e eventually over time, we had a great co-family with them, but it broke my heart that she would even think that, but, like, I mean, I still am very present in her life and all of her I mean, that's my baby, like, I just think that the children, no matter what you have going on as adults, you have to set that now, obviously, if you're having a fallout because that person is not safe to be around your children,
Ye
that is one thing. But if it's just you guys fighting over stupid sibling shit, that's like my sister, like, they would never cut my mom off. Like, if anything ever happened and they were upset with my mom, like that too, where it's like the kids adore my mom. That's their grandparent. And so if it's just something that they're pissed off at my mom, were, or were pissed off at my
Yeah.
mom about, then they would never hold their like, it's not fair to the kids because you as adults can't get your shit together or because you're fighting over something stupid. So I do think that and your children should never, ever be used as like bargaining chips or
Yeah.
if I don't do what they want me to do, they're going to take the kids away from me or I won't have a relationship with the kids. My family would never use any of the kids in our family against another person. That's wild to me. And like I said, I mean, me and my sister, we haven't. I mean, I don't know as we've gotten older, like I couldn't tell the last time we just had like a real knock on wood. Don't Stacey, I love you.
Don't piss her off.
Don't pit yeah, and please don't be mad at me. You haven't texted me back in about 3 days, so I do think that you're mad at me currently, but I'll call you when this is over. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that children should not be collateral damage because adults
Yeah.
can't seem to get their shit together.
And that's what I was thinking when you were talking. I was like, "No, I agree. Children should not be used as pawns,
No.
for like, well, they piss me off, so they're not going to say the kids. No, like you said, on the flip side, if that is a toxic person and you legitimately like have cut them off for a legitimate reason, yeah, maybe you want to keep the kids away for a reason. But if it's just like you said, because they're angry, don't use. Yeah, I agree. Don't
Yeah,
use the
because
kids
like,
as like a pawn.
even if we don't see eye to eye, if I'm no threat to your like, it would devastate me. Like, obviously, I would break my heart if, like, I didn't have a relationship with my siblings, but it would break my heart, like, it would break my heart just as much, if not more, because I love my nieces and nephews, like, to miss them growing up over something like
Yeah,
that. So, I do think that children should stay out of it, and I think that, they should not be used as pawns.
absolutely.
It's my hot take.
That's. I mean, of course, all of like my niece is the same way, but like, the first thought that came to my mind was my best friend Megan and how close I am with her kids because I nannied her kids when they were younger,
Mhm.
and so I've literally watched them grow up from babies, and, like, they are to me, like, part of my family. So I'm like, if me and Megan ever, for whatever reason, stop becoming friends, I'm still gonna have, like, I need custody rights to her kids
Yeah.
because, like, I can't just not be involved with them.
'Cause it's hard for
No.
kids to understand why these people
Yeah.
aren't coming around anymore or think that they did something wrong as to why they don't talk to them or
Yeah.
see them anymore.
Well, I want to talk about some things that we believed as children to be true, but clearly weren't true.
Yeah, we're not talking about, Christmas or stranger danger.
I love strangers.
Yeah.
Speaking of strangers, I thought as a child that strangers coming up to me and offering drugs would be a lot bigger problem
Yeah.
than because Dare made it seem
Yes.
like
Dare made it seem that drugs were very easily accessible, and they probably
they
are,
were
never
like,
have been for me.
and offers them to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I wish strangers would have offered me more candy because I love a sweet treat.
love it. Open van door.
Maybe that's why I love Mardi Gras so much because it's just strangers giving you a bunch of shit.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Uh,
All the things we were promised.
yep. Another thing I thought that if you had the car light on when your parents were driving,
Yes.
like felony,
Yes. Going to
you
jail.
you were gonna get pulled over, you were gonna go to jail if that interior light came on in the car.
Mhm.
Straight to jail.
Yep. And that's a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
Most parents use that one.
I thought that quicksand was gonna be a lot bigger of an issue than it is. When I was a child, I thought about quicksand a lot as a kid.
Hot lava?
More quicksand, but I thought it was gonna be a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was my Roman Empire as a kid.
It was quicksand?
Yeah, like, I just thought
Yeah.
about okay, how do I get myself out? And I would, like, have to, like, remind myself what to do if I fell into quicksand.
Yeah, but now also that we live in a coastal area, I didn't know that I underestimated riptides.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very real.
They are.
I've been caught in one.
Um, these this next one is really funny, and I'm really gonna embarrass myself a little bit here. But when I was a kid, I vividly remember, like, if I saw a man on TV without a shirt, that they were fully nude instead of just shirtless. So I would go up to the TV and I would like, look down to try to see. I swear. I swear to God.
You were pecker checking?
Yes, I was.
Holy.
Because, like, so, like, the TV cuts off, like, at their stomach, but in my kid brain, I was like, "They're fully nude on the TV," so I would go up and look down to see if I could see anything further. Swear to God.
Update. Molly still hasn't found the pecker.
No, I'm still pecker checking, but I did.
Let me find out that's why. Let me. I 100% believe that you're born gay. However, let me find out that's why Molly was like, I can't find it. So you know what? You know what I do get to see?
But
I
in my
see a lot of it.
like, the concept of them just being shirtless was not a thing. I thought they were fully nude on
Molly said
TV.
full frontal or,
Or nothing.
or go home.
So I would, like, look down to see if I could see anything further.
What a pervy child.
I really was. I used to, like, make my Barbies touch private parts. I was a perverted child.
All right. I'm so sorry. Where were we? Molly pecker checking.
Yeah, you called me a pecker checker and then almost knocked your shelf over.
That was instant karma.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, back on track. My last one that I believed as a kid, this has also have to do with TV. I was, like, really young when I thought this, but you know how they used to talk about, like, TV being in black and white?
Yeah.
I guess the whole world was in black and white. I didn't understand the concept of, like, just the TV was black and white. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I was, like, really young, but I remember thinking it was black and white back then.
Molly said we're the chosen. Molly said we're the chosen ones.
Yeah.
We see color.
So I was dumb and perverted as a kid.
Same.
But those are
As a kid. No, I'm just kidding.
not much has changed.
Not much has changed. We're both still a little dumb. We're a little smarter now, but we got smarter and just added more to the pervert.
Yeah, just more pervert.
Yeah.
Learned a little more
Yeah.
in all areas of life.
We're
Right.
smarter and more perverter. All right. Well, so mine were because my mom would say it sometimes that the car wouldn't start unless your seatbelt was buckled.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's
Your
a good
car
one to
wouldn't
use.
start unless your seatbelt was buckled. Okay. And then this one is very personal. So my older sisters, they would babysit me and my older brother a lot, or just not even really babysit. They were just like my parents both worked, and so they would be home with us sometimes at
Mhm.
night, and so they would be responsible for giving us our bath. So me and my older brother, we were really little too, and we're like Irish twins. We're like a month, or we're a year, and like a few months apart, and so when we were still appropriate ages to bathe together, that movie. I can't think of the name. I was trying to think of it earlier. Do you remember that movie where it was the little people that were living in their house?
Like Honey, I Shrunk the
Oh,
Kids?
no, what was it called? The Borrowers. You've never seen that? You've never seen that movie? My God.
No.
They were like this little, and they lived in they lived in this family's house, and there was a whole community of them. Anyways, it's this movie called The Borrowers. So me and my older brother love Molly. Oh my God. Go home and watch it tonight. Please, you'll love it. You'll love it. Okay, so me and my older brother loved The Borrowers, and so they're these little people, but they could come out of, like, through the pipes and the sinks and or whatever, but they were like a lovely little family. It was a lovely little community, but it was just tiny, itty bitty people like this big,
Oh.
and they lived like mice almost in your walls and stuff, but they had a whole town built in this house, like, in the walls, and they would sneak and they would take, like a little piece of cheese to them would feed their family for, like, forever. Anyways,
Yeah.
so my sisters, me and my older brother were obsessed with the movie. And so when we were in the tub, if we were taking too long in the bath, like playing or whatever, they were ready for us to get out. For years of my life, because they didn't tell us that they weren't real. I think this is even as an adult, I hate sitting in a bath. So what they would do is they would hide their, like, they would, like, I don't know how they would do it, but they would, like, get their hand and they would pinch our butts. And they told us that those little people, like the borrowers, lived under our tub and they were called booty pinchers. And they would say, if y'all don't hurry to get out of this tub, the booty pinchers are going to get you. And if we kept playing and we didn't listen, they would come out from like, they would like go under the water and they would start pinching our butts. And we'd go, it's the booty pinchers. It's the booty pinchers. No. And we'd start crying. It was very traumatic, actually. Stacy and Christy would, so when they were ready and they were over, it was time for, they would literally, all they had to say was the booty. And we were getting out of that tub, butt naked, running around the house. No, not the booty pinchers. But we believed that there was these little people that lived under our tub and lived in our pipes. And when they were ready for us to get out of the tub and we were like, it was time for us to get out. If we didn't get out, they were going to come and they were going to just pinch the shit out of our butts. And so for years of my life, and even now sometimes I'll be in the tub and I'll be like,
The booty pinchers are coming.
the booty pinchers are about to get me. I'm 32 years old and let me find me soaking in a bathtub being like, oh God, I've been
How
here.
long have I been in here?
They come at 12 minutes. It's just been
So-
11.
Myself and every listener is never going to be able to sit in a bathtub again now. without
Yeah,
thinking
if
about
you've been soaking in the
a
tub for too
booty
long, no, the
pincher.
booty pinchers are coming for you.
Damn.
Yeah, so
Man.
it took probably way too long for them to be like, you know, that was us. The booty pinchers aren't real. I'm like, I'm 18 and I don't get in a tub to this day. I don't soak in a tub ever. But if I do, every time I get in, I have flashbacks of crying around my house, butt naked, soaking wet, going, please don't let the booty pinchers get me. They would pinch the shit out of our
I'm
butts, too,
never
and our
going to be
thighs.
able to take another bath.
Yeah,
Without
so I
thinking
believed
about
in
that.
booty pinchers. And
Okay.
then, so then I asked my coworkers, I said, hey, research for the pod tonight. They're probably over me at this point. But I said, research for the pod. What are some things that y'all believed as kids?
Mm-hmm.
And so a few of them they gave me was my boss. She came in clutch with a lot. So a lot of them were like pretty common, like the ones of like
Yeah.
the light on in the car is a felony. One of hers was that her dad would tell her that they couldn't get, he didn't like strawberry jelly. He preferred grapes. So he would tell them that the strawberry cost more and it was too expensive. They couldn't afford it. So they only had grape jelly. And then he told her that Vienna sausages were just mini hot dogs.
Hell yeah. I mean, they kind of are.
They kind of are. And that Spam was a delicacy, like a literal, like caviar. So they had Spam that it was like, she was like, we're eating like kings tonight. We got Spam.
High class.
And then another one was that her grandmother fully convinced their whole family that they were descendants of Johnny Appleseed. And she almost got in a fight with a kid in 3rd grade standing on business that she was their direct bloodline to Johnny Appleseed.
I love that.
And then the last one, it has to do with DNA. My other coworker, she said that her grandmother like made this huge deal that they were Native American. And like 90% of her, like her and her siblings and like 90% of her family has all done like the ancestry, and they don't have a drop of Native American in them.
Dang.
Okay, well, our next segment is going to be, it's our last segment. And so we're probably not going to look at unhinged question this week because we're already kind of at time, and these are going to be better than unhinged questions because they're unhinged, funny. We're each going to tell an unhinged family funny story, funny family story.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that right?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm off my rocker.
Well, mine is not so much I mean, it involved family, but I'm the star of this story. So my cousin Brandon and I, we grew up, we're 11 days apart.
Mm-hmm.
So we grew up pretty much as brother and sister and not cousins.
The one I almost married.
Yeah.
the one that proposed to me at Christmas.
So we grew up very close. We were together all the time. Well, we called ourselves, we were going to go camping in the backyard one time. So we got a tent out there. We got all the stuff out there to go camping. Okay. I mean, we had been out there all day. I even think we had built tools out of sticks. I mean, we were serious about this.
Was this at Nana's?
No, this was at Mom's.
Okay.
This is at my house.
Were y'all adults?
No.
Okay. I mean, we did stuff like this as adults. Okay, sorry.
We were children.
Okay.
I don't really know what age. Too old for what I'm about to tell you, but we were children. So we had been out there all day. We were going to camp, had our tent set up, had everything. And I said, I'm serious about this. We are living in the wild. This is, if you have to go to the bathroom. We're not going inside because we live here now. And for my cousin, it was very easy to do that. He could just, go off in the bushes and pee.
Yeah.
Well, me being me, I have a too much gene, and I said, I could squat and pee, but I want to really know what it feels like to be one with nature, and I want to take a poop outside. And my mother had been out there checking on us, and for some reason we had a 5-gallon bucket out there. And I said, Mama, we're camping. I'm not coming inside, even if I have
She
to.
was probably like, hallelujah.
I said, we're not coming inside, even if I have to poop. And she said, well, where do you think you're going to poop? And I said, in that 5-gallon bucket right there. And she said, you know how the moms, they do their lips?
Oh, and Sadie does a good one. She does a scary one.
They tighten their lips up. You better not shit in my bucket. I said, okay, girl. But we were camping, okay? So we're out there for a while longer. And I said,
the aura.
And I said, I think I could poop. So I get that 5-gallon bucket and I put it up against a tree and I sit on it and I poop in that 5-gallon bucket outside, just in the backyard. We're in a neighborhood. We're not out in the woods. We're in a neighborhood. And I'm just in the backyard, in the fenced in backyard, chain link fence, just pooing in a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket, okay? And my mom comes back outside at one point to check on us. And I told her, I said, Mom, I pooped in that bucket. And she was very mad at me. She said, Molly Elizabeth, I told you not to shit in that bucket. Now you go and you clean it out.
You weren't betting on that part of it, huh? You didn't think I went through like, I'm gonna have to actually clean this bucket out.
I think I just threw the whole thing away. She said, I'm not cleaning that out. I'm not. And when I talked to her and told her I was going to tell this story, she remembers it because she said, oh yeah, I remember. She said, I told you many times not to shit in that bucket and you did it. I said, yes, I did. Because I was like, I'm going to get the full experience. She said, and the worst part, Molly, is y'all didn't even sleep outside. Y'all came back in not long after that.
Molly didn't want to. Molly's goal was not to actually camp. She just wanted to be able to poop in a bucket outside.
I just wanted to be able to poop
that was
outside.
Molly's real motive, but she had to use camping as an excuse to do it because it would have been weird if they'd have just been playing and she'd have just pooped in the bucket. So Molly was like, you know what? If I make them believe that I now live outside, it's acceptable.
It's acceptable.
That was Molly's audition tape for Naked and Afraid.
I one time pooped in a bucket.
Mom, record it. Brandon, hold the camera straight.
Hold the camera.
I want to go on Fear Factor.
I was like, Mom, did you clean that? She said, hell no.
No, I know Sandy K did it. I know she did it.
She said, I told you not to shit in that bucket. Now you go clean it out.
I could hear her now call Nana because Nana would call. They talk like Molly's family. I thought that me and my they talk on the phone multiple times a day, and it was that way with Nana. It was like a phone line. Like, all right, hold on, Mama, I gotta let you go. Lynn's calling me. Yep. And she'd hang up and she'd be like, Lynn, hold on, Renee's calling me. And then she'd say, damn, I gotta call Mama back. And Lynn be like, Mama ain't answering my phone all day. You don't talk to her.
It's still like that.
It's still like that. They had a damn phone chain going with the Hyatt sisters.
It never fails that if I'm on the phone with Mom or Lynn, they go, oh, hold on, that's your mama calling me. Or, oh, hold on, that's Lynn calling me.
Yeah.
Or even with my sister, oh, hold on, Mom's calling me. I'll have to call her back.
Yeah. So I can just see Sandy inside, or she's sitting out. Molly's there in the back porch. Sandy wouldn't go out on the front porch, and Nana called her. She's like, Mama, I'm gonna have to let you go. Mama, I'll have to let you go. Molly's back there shitting in this damn bucket. Nana go, what? She did what?
But then
shit in a bucket.
I know she's probably like, no, honey, why did you do that?
Yeah. And Nana would have been like, now, Sandy, they're just youngins. You let them youngins do what they want to, okay? Exactly. If Molly Elizabeth wants to go back there and shit in a bucket and let Brandon clean it up, then, honey, let him do it. I can hear Nana now, but I can also hear Sandy going, Mama, I gotta let you go. Molly's back there shitting in that bucket. And I told her 3 times, Molly Elizabeth. And I'm pretty sure running back there with a cigarette in her hand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brandon was like, "You won't do it."
Yeah, I could hear. I could hear Brandon.
So that's probably partially the reason why.
I bet you don't even have to poop, Molly.
I probably didn't, but I had to enough that I shouldn't.
And that's the story of when Molly got her first hernia. Yeah, or hemorrhoid. That's when Molly got her first hemorrhoid. Was forcing herself to poop so she could go in the bucket.
Yeah, but I know he was like, "You won't do it," and I did it. But that was just a little
God,
that was
I
just
can
a
play that in my head right now, Molly, the
mhm,
entire scenario.
her saying, "You better not shit in my bucket."
Molly Elizabeth, you better not shit in that damn bucket over there.
I did.
We're gonna wrap this up if that's what y'all gonna be doing carrying on out here. Get in the house.
But did when I was on the phone with her, she said, "The worst part, Molly, was y'all came in like 20 minutes after you shit in the buckets. Y'all didn't even
So
camp."
you ruined my bucket for nothing. You could have pooped in the
Yeah.
toilet.
Nope.
God.
That was my family story.
That's a good one. Okay. So what I said earlier that I was trying to rack my brain and there are so many of them, but is my family is very we love dark humor and we have experienced a lot of things in our lives and a lot of loss and just that's how we cope with it is dark humor. And so this truly when I think about it is my family's funniest story and I'm going to paint the whole picture for you and set the scene and play by play of the day of my dad's funeral. Set the scene first of all when my dad passed away, I was living on my own or next to my grandparents. Like I was pretty much living at Molly's, but I had my own place. And so my dad passed away on a Thursday. It was Thursday before Thanksgiving. And my mom, like, she came and got me because obviously you're going to have to, like, I had never been to a funeral before. And probably any kind of black dress that I had was not appropriate for my father's funeral. It was also freezing that year. Do you remember that? It was so cold outside. So my mom was like, I have to come get you. And so I was like, okay. So she took me to Target and got me like, cause I thought I was going to go, my dad lived an hour and a half away and all of my siblings had already got up there and either gotten hotels. So my mom was like, if you want to, we'll go shopping and then I'll take you up there so you can be there with your siblings. And I was like, okay. So, she took me to like Target. And I remember it just being so weird because I also ran into a few people while we were out and about and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But also, girl, your dad died less than 12 hours ago and you're in the beauty aisle at Target. But because my mom bought me, I think it was just her way of helping me cope with it at the time. But she bought me like, she's like, you're going to need makeup, you're everything that you're going to need up there. Let's not even worry about going to your house. We're gonna buy all brand new. So we went on this like shopping spree. She got me all this stuff. And then I had wanted this houndstooth peak coat for you remember my houndstooth peak
Mhm.
coat. And y'all will know that was a hot item. And Body Central had one. God, do I miss Body Central?
Oh, yeah, me too.
Body Central had one, and I'd ask for it for Christmas. Like that's what I told both of my parents that I wanted was a pair of houndstooth Toms and a pair of that houndstooth peak coat. So I was like, my dad, if you didn't know, was the biggest Alabama fan. He had a whole room in his house that you could not step foot in with all of his Alabama memorabilia. My dad also had thousands of dollars of Earnhardt memorabilia. When I this is not, I'm not I keep getting sidetracked, but this is just setting the stage of who my father was. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Dale Earnhardt Sr. died, my dad came home. My mom had this antique. It was like her great grandmother's curio cabinet that had like angels and like all this like nice china and stuff in it. He ripped all that shit out of it, put in a box, put it in storage. We had a shrine to Dale Earnhardt in our living room in my mother's very expensive antique curio cabinet. It was one that had like the lights and everything in it with the glass shelves, like a corner one, and it had the Wheaties box. There was a Dale Earnhardt phone, like a corded phone. It was a shrine to Dale Earnhardt in our living room.
Nice.
So anyway, so I was like, "Oh my God, like, Mom, it's freezing, like, I'm gonna be cold," and she was like, "Okay, like, you can get like, I was gonna get it for you for Christmas anyway, so, like, I got my peak coat." And when I was thinking about this story earlier, I thought to myself, because this is how my dark humor works, is that I was like, "What if I would have been out shopping, like, shortly after that and, like, a girl was trying to get the same peak coat and it was expensive," and be like, "Damn, who has to die around here for me to get this coat?" Like, "Hey, girl, whoa, be careful what you wish for."
Your dad?
Yeah, yeah. Like, damn, this coat is expensive. Who's got to die around here for me to get this coat? Well, so anyways, so I got my houndstooth, and I remember feeling so weird being like, this peak coat, and then having to remind myself like, I wear this at my dad's funeral in a couple days. I was 18. I ended up not going up to where my dad lived because there was just my siblings had all got like hotel rooms, but like most of them had like had spouses or children, and so my mom was like, I don't really want you to be like up there by yourself, and she wasn't going up until the day of the funeral. And so I was like, it's okay. Like, because also, what am I going to do at 18? You know what I mean? Like, they were doing my siblings were handling the funeral arrangements and all of that. So, speaking of my siblings handling the funeral arrangements, the relationship that got started with the funeral home was a conversation like this. They go and they're getting like his obituary together. They're getting like the announcement. Was getting those made and like just getting him all the things. And so he said, she brought up my dad. When it was, he grew up in St. Louis. He was a massive Cardinals fan. And so my dad actually, like, planned out his whole funeral a few weeks before he died, n did not know that he I think he knew that he was dying, but it was weird that he did that, and he talked to my brother about it. My brother was like, "Dad, you're literally 52, like, why are we having this?" It was weird, and they just changed the subject. So my dad had told him that he wanted to be buried in a Cardinals jersey. My dad was a very big man, and so his cousin actually overnighted a Cardinals jersey in his size, and my dad was buried in a Cardinals jersey. So my dad was, commando. My dad never and I don't think he'd give a shit for me saying this because he was the most open person,
Mhm.
and he never wore underwear, and so my sister and brother, my siblings, they're there at the funeral home, and the poor funeral director, he was like, okay, so just going over, all of the different things you have to go over. And he said, and also, so I got your dad's belongings, and we got the jersey and we got the shorts. And I was just curious, sometimes, there wasn't any undergarments in there. And he said, undergarments. My sister was like, what? And he was like, his undergarments. And she said, his drawers? And he said, yes, ma'am. And she said, I would have to go out and physically buy my dad. He doesn't have any at home. I would have to, for one, I'd have to go buy him underwear, and I'm not putting him in underwear in his death because he'd haunt the shit out of me if I put drawers on that man. So no, he's going out the way he came in, and he did. So my dad, my dad is commando in
Well,
a Cardinals jersey in the ground.
hell yeah.
And so then my sister is very big on like interior design. Stacy or Molly knows Stacy is like the party planner of our family. She's very crafty and creative and just has a vision, and it's beautiful. So my dad also wanted some of his Dale Earnhardt. He wanted like a table with like his Dale Earnhardt stuff there, and he wanted some of his Alabama memorabilia there. So there was like these cocktail, like the bar tables, they're like the high top tables. They
Mhm.
had them like all throughout the room where like his viewing was. And there was one that had like Alabama stuff on it and like a Nick Saban statue. And then like his Earnhardt stuff. And then there was like this board that had like crimson on it. It was like had all these pictures, like a cork board. And she had like floral arrangements like around them, like trying to make it. She was like, this is redneck as hell. I'm trying to make it as nice and as pretty as possible, but I'm like making centerpieces out of Dale Earnhardt memorabilia. This is so redneck. So but she pulled it off. It was beautiful. So, okay. If you listen to episode 1, if you caught it, Molly's mom, after I found out that my dad passed away, the first thing she said was, ask my mom, can I give her a Xanax? Sandy and Nana kept me calm, cool, and collected for the few days in between my dad dying and his funeral. My mother did not have any of those things. However, so I stayed the night before at my mom's house, woke up, and I rode the funeral with her. And I woke up and I was like, Mama, my nerves are just so bad. And she said, well, I mean, if you want to call Sandy, like whatever, I can take you over there. And I'm like, we don't have time. So my mother says, honey, I don't have anything for anxiety. But my little brother Craig had torn his ACL and had to have surgery on it. It was like horrific, like a few months before my dad died. And she said, I don't have any Xanax. But Craig had some Percocet. I had never taken a pain pill a day in my life at 18 years old. So I said, "Okay, well, what does that do?" And she's like, "Well, you'll feel nothing. Sign me up." So my mother gives me a Percocet. So my mom, I pop that Percocet and I get in her car. Mind you, we have an hour and a half drive. It fully set in by the time I got to the funeral
Yeah.
home. Well, we got there early before the viewing. And I'm in my houndstooth peak coat, my
Mhm.
black dress, my tights, my knee-high boots, because like, and my fresh, brand new riding boots,
Yeah.
like, I was dripped out.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
The boots.
So, we show up, and my sister was the only one there, and I'll never forget it, and I walked in and I gave her a hug, obviously got emotional, but I'm zooted out on Percocet, and she said, "Okay, well, hey, like I said, "Stacy, I don't know that I can go in there." And she said, "No, he looks so good. Like Kaitlyn, he just looks like he's sleeping. He really he looks at peace. He looks so good." And I said, "No, Stacy, I've never seen I don't know. I've never seen a dead body before." And she said, "Kaitlyn, it's going to be fine." So she gives me a little pep talk, and she said, "You need to go in there and you need to say whatever you need to say. And, before everybody gets here, like, I'm going to give you a minute, the two of you alone. I know you need that. And like, I know you need that, like with dad." And I said, "Okay." So I go up to the casket, and
Mm.
I didn't know, especially after a body has been on ice for a little bit, that sometimes the skin is not fully intact. Um, so I didn't know. So I leaned down. And I'm sobbing, obviously, I'm standing over my dad's casket, and I'm sobbing, and I give him a big old kiss on his forehead. When I come up and turn around, my sister has now opened the French doors to the room, and I have my dad's forehead on my lips. And again, I'm high on Percocet. So, like the really light makeup, but it was part of his forehead. It was just cute.
Oh,
So I
God.
turn around and I'm like, I'm crying and I'm like, that was so hard. And Stacey's like, she looks like she's seen a ghost. And she's like, Kaitlyn, no, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. Where did you kiss him? And I said, yeah, sis. I gave him a kiss on his forehead. And she said, Kaitlyn, baby, I think Dad's forehead is on your lips. And I had lipstick on, so it was mixed in with my lipstick. She said, oh my God, baby, Kaitlyn, I think, no, I'm so sorry. I didn't think to tell you, but baby, you can't just kiss on them and it's makeup on top of that, but like sometimes the skin is like, it can come off. So I just suited out on Percocet, flying high with my dad's forehead skin on my lips, his lipstick. So I wipe it off. So that's how it started for me. We're not even done yet. That's the beginning. So we get past that, and then I'm obviously freaked the hell out, but I don't give a shit because I'm on Percocet again. Never took a pain pill a day in my life, and I'm sure it was a strong one because it was like for a torn ACL surgery. And so I remember at one point there was these old women. So Stacey was like sitting this. So then my mom was like, oh my God, I did give Kaitlyn a Percocet, Stacey. And Stacey was like, Mom, why? And she's like, her nerves were so bad this morning, Stacey. Her anxiety is so bad. I had a very bad panic attack the day before my dad died, not knowing my dad was going to die. I used to have really bad panic attacks and anxiety. She's like, Stacey, how she gets with her anxiety and she's nervous, and I didn't have a Xanax for her, and so that's the only thing I had. And I knew that it would calm more than her nerves. She just wouldn't feel a thing. So her and my mom are getting a little tip about like, why'd you give Kaitlyn a Percocet? So they sit me in this damn chair. It was like like the king's chair. It's like with the gold at the top, and it's like an antique chair. So they said, sit your ass right here. And it was in the foyer where everyone's coming in, and I look exactly like my dad. And so anyone who comes in, even that didn't know me, like people coming to the wake, would know, they were coming up to me and they were like, oh, like these little old women, they were like holding my hands. And I'm just like, space it out, bro. Like I am just on another planet. And they're like, we are so sorry and I'm just, uh-huh. Thank you. Who are you? How'd you know my dad? You're like 90 years old. I've never met you before. So then they realized like maybe the hostess of this funeral shouldn't be the 18-year-old daughter with half of his forehead on her lips, zooted out on Percocet. So I sit there. So my sister Christy comes in fashionably late. She always did. So the poor funeral director has witnessed all of this. And so and this is the day after he's had to realize that this man's about to be just rocking out with his, what out. So anyways, so my sister Christy, she busts in the door of this. And again, it's freezing cold outside, but my whole family is just very hot natured. So she comes in and she goes, oh my God, can we get the AC on in here? Because it's hot as hell. And if my dad was alive, if he would pop up out of that casket and say, it's hot as hell in here. Can you get the AC on? It's just Stacey, who's the rock of our family, is like, oh my God, stop screaming, it's hot as hell in here. Because we're all kind of questioning, is he looking up or down at us? We didn't know because my dad, we didn't know he was safe. And so that happens. Okay. So Christy comes in, she's, hey y'all, how you doing? So then my dad was married and she had children, and one of my stepsisters, it was a hot mess, and her and my dad would fight he would kick her out of the house all the time. They would fight all the time. But she had a little boy, and my dad would babysit him because my dad didn't work. He was disabled at that point up until he died. And so God loved that child because my dad loved his grandbabies, if nothing else. And so he would watch his little boy during the day while she would work. And so they got very, very close. So he called him like Paw Paw or Papaw or something. And so we're sitting at the front rows, obviously, like as the family, and then like her children, like sitting behind us. So my older siblings, like my brothers and stuff, they were already sitting at the front because they were all pallbearers. So they're sitting at on the front row. And so next to my brother is like my nieces and nephews, they had made like little coloring pages for my dad and like notes to my dad and put in the casket. It was actually very sweet because they were really little when he died. And so my niece, my oldest brother's daughter, she's always been very matter of fact, and I love that about her. So even as a child, she was. So she was, I don't know, God, she would have been like 6 or 7, if that, like maybe 6 or 7, yeah. So she is sitting in the front row. Well, this little boy, my stepsister's son, is like 3 at the time, and so they're walking down. They show up late, and it's chaotic, and like the funeral's about to start, and we're at the doors, like about to close them and go walk it where we're sitting. And so she starts just bawling her eyes out,
Your
throwing her
stepsister?
yes, threw herself on the floor, just made the biggest scene. Oh my God, I can't believe he's gone. So my 2 sisters look at me, and my sister Christy, if you don't know, that was a down like she scary. So she looks over at me, and my sisters all lock eyes with each other. I'm like, I'm about to have to fight on Percocet. I can't feel my
You gonna
lips.
feel it.
I'm like over here in the corner, like balling, like, pull my fist going to ball. And so she's like, she said, if she moans and cries out one more time, I'm beating her damn ass in this funeral. And who hasn't turned the AC on? It's still hot as shit in here. It's 98 degrees. My dad's about to rise up. So this is just chaotic. So she's falling out on the floor crying. So my mom, we're like looking at my stepmom, like we gave her the look, like you better get her ass. And so she does. She gets her up off the floor. And it's like, get it together. And my sister was like, my dad didn't even like you. Like, so we're like about to be in this like fight. And Chrissy was like, my dad didn't even like you. Dry it up. So her little boy, while all this is ensuing, goes running up to the casket and he goes, Papaw. So apparently they told this little boy to explain death to him that Papaw was just sleeping. So he goes running up to the casket and he's like, Papaw, 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 he's taking a nap. He's sleeping. The room goes dead silent. And my niece turns around in the front row and she looks at my brother and my sister-in-law and goes, why does he keep yelling that grandpa is asleep? He's not asleep. He's dead. She just yells it. He ain't asleep. He's dead. So we get done with that. And then the preacher gets up and he's talking and we gets up and he was like, I want to just, say, my experience with Craig. And my dad had a heart attack earlier in the year, like right before my sister got married. Like he couldn't make her wedding because he was like in the hospital and had a heart attack. So he had a heart attack earlier. He died in November. It was like March of that year, February, March. And so he said, last time I saw Mr. Craig was in the hospital and I just want to, let everyone know, like his children, I want you guys to know that your dad, when we were at the hospital, he asked to be saved. And me and my siblings look around each other and we look up and we're like, Jesus. And look, because we were like you could feel, like we literally were like, okay, all right, cool. So that was a relief. We found that out. So then, as I said earlier, my dad is a very large man, was a very large man. The pallbearers were my brothers, who at the time were not the weightlifting or athletic people that they are now. My little brother was 16. So they probably should have had like 10 pallbearers, but there was like my stepbrother, my 3 brothers, my 2 brother-in-laws, not any of them big men at all. Okay. Not sturdy men. And one of them, again, my teenage brother. My dad was like, 400 pounds. We do the, funeral procession to the graveside. We get to the graveside. To get to my dad's, where you had to park to get to my dad's grave, you have to walk down a little hill.
Oh, God.
So we're walking behind the casket. My high is blown a little bit at this point. My Percocets are coming down off of it. I have sunglasses on. And me and my sisters are walking next to my mom and my stepmom and stuff. And you start hearing commotion in front of us, and they are about to drop my dad's casket. So said stepsister's crackhead boyfriend, who was smoking a cigarette while we're literally walking graveside, is smoking a cigarette, starts yelling, I got it, I got it, I got it. So the last vision that I have of my dad is walking behind his casket as literally all of my brothers and brother-in-law's knees are just locking up and trembling, and they're all looking around, and we're all like screaming, me and my sister, like, oh my God, they're going to drop it. They're going to drop it. And here comes just this super geeked out. I'm like, he took 2 Percocets this morning. Percocets did the opposite for him.
Yeah.
So he comes running out of left field in like jeans because he wore like jeans and like a dirty ass polo. So he comes in his like holy jeans and like Sperry's and this butt, like looking like he had been on a bender for 3 days. And he was kind of a buff guy. And he literally just like comes out of nowhere and like all but like puts the casket on one shoulder in the back and is like, all right, y'all go now. And he had on like bedazzled Gucci sunglasses and this just like torn up with like a white dingy undershirt. So my last memory before my dad gets put in the ground is that some crackhead, her boyfriend, comes just running and just all but lifts my dad's whole casket. And all my brothers are like, all right, bro, you got it. All right, you can walk this whole bitch by yourself.
By yourself.
Then the funeral director turns around at all of us. He was like, can we wrap this shit up? Like, this damn family is a lot. So my sister Christy, like we're all very over dramatic because we get it honest from my dad. And so me and my sister, Christy's just like, Derek, she's yelling at her husband because she's like, Derek, put your back into it. You're about to drop my daddy. Derek. She's yelling. She's like, Derek, lift up, Derek. Don't you better not drop my damn daddy. And Stacey's just like, I don't want to be a part of this family anymore. Like my sister Stacey's just like, I had to put houndstooth ribbon in a floral arrangement next to a statue of Bear Bryant, Nick Saban on a freaking table. Like it's just a lot going on. So that is just, but looking back now, just when I think of funny stories of my family, as morbid as it is, my favorite funny story is the chaos that was my dad's funeral. But in all honesty, it was true. Like it was true to our family. Like we weren't pretending to be something we weren't. That was our family. It's chaos. It's big. It's loud. It's funny. And we all can laugh about it now. But it was just, so that is the story of how I tripped out on Percocet at 18 years old at my dad's funeral.
My God.
And looking back now, that was wild on my mom to offer me a Percocet because that could have been a very slippery slope for me and grief.
I mean, which is fair enough with the Xanax, but you know.
Yeah. So that was wild. But like, I know I talk about like, I've gotten emotional on here about losing them, but there's also the flip side of that of where I can look back and like as traumatic as it was losing my dad at such a young age and very traumatic having his forehead on my lips. I can look back at it now and just be like, that was wild, dude. That was wild. I hope I go out like that.
Hell yeah.
The fact that the preacher had to be like, I just want to let everyone here know because I know that there's probably some questions. Your daddy did make it to heaven. He did ask to get saved. In case anybody was wondering, he's looking down, not up. I just need to know. Like that's how he started it. He was like, first of all, I have a few announcements. First, don't worry, I saved your daddy in the hospital. He asked, he got baptized, saved. We're good. I know y'all were probably wondering he's not spending eternity in hell. So we were like, whoo, okay. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
He's not, but after the events of today, we all are.
Yeah,
we're going to need you to save all of us again.
You're all going to hell.
So that is the story of my dad's funeral. It still ended up being, a beautiful sentiment to my dad. But yeah, that was the first time I ever took a Percocet. And I didn't take another one again until I had surgery in my East. But wild trip. And you know what? I wore the hell out of that houndstooth jacket. So I will say, if nothing else, my dad always looked out and he spoiled us as much as he could. And so shout out to you, Dad, because I got a new wardrobe and I got the coat that I wanted. I hate the way that I had to get it, but just so you know, I got my use out of that funeral jacket.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well,
that was a good story.
Man, it made me hurt. My abs are hurting now.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week's episode.
Okay.
All right. Well,
all right.
Don't forget to like this video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you're here watching it and you're not subscribed, I'm going to block you. So
yeah,
hit the subscribe button.
And just know we're recording next week after we've had several days of Mardi Gras chaos. And so when next week's episode gets released, me and Molly might look little
I might be here with like
dehydrated. There's definitely going to be some dry shampoo. And if you see it in the camera, don't say anything. We'll have done several days, a week's worth of Mardi Gras festivities. And so, yeah, just know, bear with us the next couple of weeks because we're in full Mardi Gras and deep gras. And so the next few episodes, if we're a little
disheveled,
it's because we work hard, but we play even harder.
That's true.
All right.
Well, we will see you guys next week.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.